Yo, what's good guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we finally got a detailed look at these bad boys right here. Potential bad boys, my bad. Haven't actually played in them yet, and I don't know when I'm gonna get to. But we're not gonna think about that for the moment. Today we're just gonna be talking about these, and that is the Nike KD 13. I almost said 7 because it says 7 on the box.
That's his new number.
Because he changed his number, man. He changed his number, which is weird because it says it right there and it threw me off. And it also says it right there and it threw me off.
Did somebody already have his number on his new team?
I don't know. I don't know if he...
Or did he just want new beginnings?
I think he just wanted something new. So these guys right here are very similar to the last model, which are these guys right here. This is still one of my favorite shoes to play in. I just love these, man. I really love playing in these. I love playing in these outside especially because these have just enough of everything for me to where they don't kill me when I'm done playing outside. And there's other shoes that I do like playing in outside too, but then my knees really like, This is one of those shoes that doesn't. You know, it's actually a good shoe that I've been liking outside, the LeBron 17s. They got tons of cushion and the traction give me no problems out there. But we're not talking about the LeBrons, we're talking about these actually. Almost forgot what shoe we were talking about. First thing that I personally noticed out of the two things is like, yo, they look mad similar. Like it was like a copy and paste job almost. They just kind of tweaked a few things. Maybe they phoned it in, maybe not, I don't know. I really like Leo, so I don't want to like bag on him too hard or anything. But at the same time, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? The one thing that I will say is that there's a few things that they've done to this one that I just feel like in my heart was like a better option. But then there's other things where I'm like, man, I really like what y'all did with this one. So why didn't you just, you know, if you were really doing a copy and paste job, why didn't you just move it over a little bit? So the first thing that I really like that they did is they pretty much re-engineered the traction and stuff. However, this is very similar to another model. Do you know what this is?
The PGs and the Why Not?
But which ones?
The 3.
Oh, damn. She is good, guys. She's good. She's real good. Yeah, that's the PGs. I wasn't really thinking about the Why Nots, but a little bit, you know what I mean? They got the little suction cup things. The Why Nots had like a break in some of them. These don't, much like the PGs. So that's what they remind me of. This little section right here, do you know what this reminds me of?
No.
Okay, so I don't expect many people to get it either, but it's just this little section where the little dots or little hashes or whatever, it looks like the Rare Metal. They had the blade traction kind of carry over from, you know, because the Rare Metal was supposed to be the new J crossover, so they had the blade traction go from the J crossover 2 to the 3, and then it was supposed to be the 4, but it turned into the Rare Metal because Jamal Crawford left. I wasn't really liking the traction because dust was messing with them, so they ended up channeling so that dust can kind of move freely a little bit, and that's what this reminds me of.
Well, that is like Brand Black's signature color.
Oh, and it's blue, yeah. I don't think this will be blue on all of them, but it definitely, maybe that's why it really reminds me of that. Good call.
Quarantine.
Hey, we got a lot of time on our hands, man. We've been looking at a lot of shoes in here. Now, as far as how I think this is going to play, I mean, if it plays anything like the PG3s, it's going to be dope. Going to need a little break-in time and all that stuff. I'm not really feeling the multicolored rubber. I really don't like when they do that because it sometimes will alter the compound, but sometimes it doesn't. So fingers crossed that it's, you know, that time that it's going to be okay. However, I don't know when the hell I'm going to get to playing these. I do not want to test shoes outside. I don't mind bringing them outside after I'm done testing them inside because that's how I get an accurate assessment of indoor traction and outdoor traction, but I'm not going to start on them outdoors. And then eventually, whenever these quarantines are lifted and stuff, we go inside. Not happening. But all I'm saying is that so far, I'm kind of feeling it. Now, the midsole on these guys, a little bit different, but a little bit the same as far as the, you know, comparison to the KD12. The one thing too that I'll just throw in there real quick is these are way lighter than the KD12s. And it's because they don't have all that extra rubber piece or pieces, like the sidewall, the little weird toe thing. I never liked that, so I'm glad that they got rid of that here, but they still have that same kind of shape. But again, they got a lightweight Phylon midsole and stuff. The thing though is that they've kind of reversed the what would you call it, the cuppage? What, cuppage, is that a bad thing? What are you thinking about me cupping? We're moving on, folks.
Alrighty then.
So the back portion right here, very similar shape to the weird little, you know, clear plastic and all that stuff. So this area really contained the heel from lateral movements, keeping it on the footbed, which is what that section of the midsole is supposed to do. However, they removed it on the forefoot section, and that's the part that I'm bummed out about because I really like that additional forefoot containment with midsoles. You do sit in this midsole just a little bit, but again, it's just a little bit, and let me re-emphasize the just a little bit part. It's very tiny. So I really wish that they would have kept that thing or something like it. It really would have been a copy and paste job had they had like moved that over too.
Do you think they're expecting the swoosh to hold you?
No, because this is foam. This looks like it's plastic, but it's not. This is actually foam right there. So this is all part of the molding. Maybe they're expecting this little plastic clip. I don't know. I didn't notice that much at all on like the Kobe 10s and stuff like that. So I don't know if that actually does anything. All I know is that it doesn't allow the foam to collapse right there, but I really want it to cup my foot because I don't like going over the footbed. I'm not really worried about this crushing. And then inside of the midsole is the full length Zoom Strobel. So same exact setup as these guys. The difference is though, is that they double stacked the Zoom Air in the heel on these with the little tiny bottom loaded hex unit, which was pointless to me. And instead they've removed that hex unit. They've moved it all the way up to the forefoot. Well, it's not a hex unit, but they moved the Zoom to the forefoot, and it's supposed to be directly underneath the Zoom Strobel unit. So it's double stacked top loaded unit, supposedly. They didn't do like a blowed up image or anything like that in the press release. But what you get out of these as far as step and comfort goes is exactly what you got out of those. You got that full length Zoom Air Strobel. It feels great underfoot. The lightweight Phylon gives you enough kind of like additional compression. So it does not feel like something like the Air Jordan 1 where it's, you know, the Zoom Strobel sitting on a rubber cup sole. So you got that kind of firmer but slightly springy setup. This is much more performance driven, at least as far as like today's standards. And so it feels good underfoot. One thing that I really liked that they did with these that most people won't care about and stuff, and some people, or maybe even a majority of the people, are maybe a little bit new. So maybe they don't know about this or remember it or whatever, but the insole seems really cheap. It feels like styrofoam, honestly. But what it reminds me of is the Kobe 6 over there came with a insole just like this. It's not identical, but it's very similar where it felt like it was styrofoam. And I remember back then being like, what the f is this? You know what I mean? Like I was like, what the hell? And then what ended up happening is that the more that you played in this thing, the more it molded, literally molded to your foot. And I absolutely loved it. It was one of the things that made me fall in love with that shoe altogether. And I know that that sounds dumb because it's just an insole and stuff, but you don't realize how important, I know that you do as a runner, right? How important a insole is that has already molded to your feet. You will take this out of like a broken in, worn shoe and put it in a new shoe just so that you kind of get that initial like, oh, they feel like they're mine already. You know what I mean? I really like that they did that. They did carve out the channel for the Zoom Strobel and stuff so it doesn't feel weird and bubbly. So from the midsole down, I love the shoe. I think that these are gonna feel great and play great so far. The thing that I'm not feeling though is the rest of it, the upper. I really like the quad axial flywire. I know that it sounds gimmicky. I know that it looks kind of weird, you know, it looks like screen mesh, which it is, with some like really thin skin fuse, which is cheap and all that stuff. I get it. I understand that stuff, but I did like the way that it felt on foot. I like the way that it played. I like the way that it hugged your foot and all that stuff. And this guy right here, this is where the real lightweightness comes into play, minus the removal of the extra rubber pieces, where the upper just, I mean, it feels legit cheap. I'm not playing either. Like, I'm glad that this shoe didn't get a price increase, except for some colorways are $160, like the special colorways.
Yeah.
But anyways, this guy just kind of feels like they're trying to mimic Ripstop, but it's not Ripstop. It just feels like a nylon and they put in like additional stitching in there. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. Again, in hand, like it's just like super lightweight, which some people might love. And I'm sure it's going to play well. I just don't like the way that it turned out. I would have loved to have seen, you know, this return or whatever. But again, I get it. You gotta deviate somewhere, and the materials are one of those things. To me though, it just feels like that's one of the areas that they definitely cost saved. And that's where like I'm like, I would have liked something a little bit better. It does show color very well though, as we've seen from the other colorways that were announced. So they're gonna put prints. Maybe that's why they chose to do that type of textile instead of the layered material, because there was less color options basically with these guys compared to what we've seen so far with only like 3 or 4 models, or colorways I should say. Now we do have some overlays right here. These are all synthetic. It reminds me of the material from the Playoff Air Jordan 8s, the black ones. I really like that feature. I think it looks cool. I think that the extra large swoosh is cool. It's kind of got like an off-white vibe to it where it's a little bit detached in certain areas, additional stitching and stuff like that. So some people are going to really like that. The tongue is interesting too. It's got a lot of foam in there and you can actually see it, like it literally pokes out, and it's a weird foam too. It almost feels like something you'd get at Michael's.
But how do they fit?
Good question, babe. Yes, I forgot to talk about the fit, okay? Okay. But I realized it, all right? She's trying to be slick. And like, hey, I came up with it. No, she didn't, man. That was all me.
I'm going to cut all that out so it looks
No, you better not. But as far as their fit is concerned, they fit just like these guys. So these are both actually the same size. These are both 9.5s. I could have done a size 9 if I wanted that really tight fit and all that stuff. But with this shoe, I actually have 2 pairs. So I have a 9 and a 9.5. Again, this is the 9.5. And I don't even, like, this is as loose as I hoop in them. That's how snug they are, you know what I mean? So like I hoop in them real loose and outdoors, which is weird because I normally don't do that. I normally like yank the out of my laces. So these guys fit just like that. Again, I went to a 9.5. Try them on in store whenever possible. We don't know when that's going to be, but what I would recommend is going with whatever size you wore in your KD 12s, because again, they just feel kind of very similar as far as the overall tightness and the narrowness and all that stuff. A lot of KDs are kind of narrow, so they fit just like that. So true to size or up half a size is what I would go with, depending on your fit preferences. And also, you'll be able to grab these over at Phenom. I can't remember the release date off the top of my head.
The 10th, or no?
That's the time that we can upload this.
So maybe it's the 17th?
Sure.
Maybe.
I think so. Let me just pull, you know, don't be lazy, Chris. Just pull out the phone, because it only takes a second. Your thumbs do the work. It is the 17th. Thanks.
You're welcome.
So anyways, these are going to be releasing on the 17th over at Phenom. I believe there's other colorways coming out right around the same time frame. I'm pretty sure that these are releasing already overseas. I think they release on the 6th.
Oh, lucky
Or maybe it's the 8th. I can't remember. But anyways, these are releasing over at Phenom. So if you wanted to, you know, support your local small businesses and all that stuff, go ahead and check them out. We'll leave a link in the description box below. Anything else that you'd like to add with these?
Can I see the inside of that shoe real quick? I just like for Mr.
What part of the inside are you looking at?
at the insole.
Why?
I thought it was neat because you're all into them like being super informative, and it flat out spells
They definitely
all the
do.
tech in there.
Yeah, I like that they do that. It says double stack zoom air system, full length zoom plus 4-foot zoom. I would like to know that this is where the sketching and the blow ups and all that stuff comes in. I would like to know what size extra zoom there is. Like if it's
that
if it's a rectangle, if it's an oval unit, if there is no zoom that's this shape that I've seen. It would be interesting if that was the shape. So like I would just like to know, but it's just for my own curiosity. It doesn't even need to be there, that extra unit. As long as the Phylon is there with the full length zoom strobel, then I think that that's good enough. But the fact that there is that extra unit, cool. And that it's in the 4-foot this time, I like that, because I didn't feel like it was necessary to put it in the heel. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Let us know what you think about these. Like I said earlier, down below in the comment section. Stay tuned for an eventual performance review. I don't know when that's going to be. It's not going to be tomorrow, and it's not going to be a week from now. So just be patient, and that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all the support. Did I say that again? I swear I just said that. Peace. So yeah, these will be these will be released. Blah. What the? So yeah, these will be released. Hold on, I was just mean mugging because of all that thing.
So yeah, these will be released on the 17th over at
No,
Phenom.
but my face wasn't ready though.